Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Movie Guide 2005. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list ranking, random thoughts, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is for Death of a Unicorn from 2025, which you look at the poster, you look at the title, you can see why this film bombed. And it's A24, you know how I feel about them. 9 times out of 10, they'll release a film that I think sucks. So not every single one of them, but I think a lot of them do. This one I want to say I hated, but I wasn't really a big fan of this either. It stars Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd pretty much playing stuff that they've played dozens of times. The setup is they're a father and daughter. They're on a trip to see Paul Rudd's boss, because Paul Rudd is a lawyer. The boss is this rich guy who's dying of cancer. The boss is played by Richard E. Grant, which I remember he was the main bad guy in Hudson Hawk. He's been in other stuff. His wife is played by Leoni. It's been a while since I've seen her. She was in Jurassic Park 3. I don't know if she is now, but she used to be with David Duchovny. And their son is Will Poulter, the guy who played Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's in the Canadian Rockies. They're driving up there, and while stuff is happening, they accidentally hit what they find out is a unicorn. A small, like, baby unicorn. They put it in the car, they drive up, and eventually they realize that it's not dead. It breaks out of the car. One of the rich guy's bodyguards shoot it. One thing leads to another, you find out that the blood, and especially the shavings of the unicorn horn, will heal you. So like blood splashed on, it's like purple blood splashed on Jenna Ortega's face, took away her acne. It splashed on Paul Rudd. He has no more allergies, and now he can see. His eyes are fixed. They take a little bit of it, they put it into Richard E. Grant. He's in like a wheelchair. Eventually he's healed up. And it's like, wow, we could make a lot of money on this. This is like a cure for cancer. This is a cure for anything in between. And Paul Rudd, his whole time, is thinking of money, money, money for the family. Jenna Ortega is trying to warn him, and they won't listen to the kid, of course. I say kids, I mean, I don't know how old she is, but they won't listen to her. Of course they won't. And then eventually, Mommy and Daddy Unicorn are pissed off and want a bit of revenge. And then people start getting killed. So that's the gist of it. Here's the thing. I like the idea of a unicorn comedy horror film. It may sound silly. It may sound stupid. And when I first heard it, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Then I'm like, you know what? It is stupid, but this could be like a fun idea. Just unicorn, I mean, you just... One of the few things I liked in The Cabin in the Woods was the unicorn killed a guy and was impaled on its horn. Like, that was one of the only things I liked about that fucking movie. But you have to do it well. Just like any movie, any type of film, you have to do it well. I don't think this film was done that well. Jenna Ortega... Listen, she plays almost this. She gives about the same fucking performance she does in most stuff. Wednesday, I didn't mind the episodes I saw. They were a request. They should be still be up on the channel because it fit the character Wednesday. But here, okay, she's not as wooden and low key. She's more of kind of the angsty teenager because the mom has passed away. And there wasn't a whole lot else to the character. Same with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was Paul Rudd. Maybe a little bit less sympathetic because which is a purpose that he's thinking about the family, so he's doing things that he's not supposed to. He's thinking about his family, and later on you find out because he made a promise to his wife, her mother, to take care of her by any means necessary. So he does some bad things, or does some things that you shouldn't do. But the father-daughter story should have been a lot stronger. Maybe the guy who wrote and directed it, he needed another pass, or he needed another writer, or another director. I don't know. Because I looked up this guy's movies, I haven't heard of a fucking thing else he did. So maybe you took this concept, you put in another writer-director, Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall, who did Dog Soldiers and The Descent. Maybe you put it in his hands. If you put it Alexander Aja, who did Crawl. Because that was a father-daughter story, and that was pretty good. I like Crawl. In fact, I want to see Crawl again. It's actually been a while since I've seen Crawl. I actually do want to see that film again. But yeah, I like Crawl. That's a good movie. So if you did someone like that, maybe this could have worked. But there should have been a lot more for the father and daughter, more moments between them, instead of just kind of the one-dimensional. The father won't listen to the daughter because he's always about the work. He's centered on the work. The daughter is angsty and pissed at her dad. And when it gets to the ending, I didn't fully buy the arc that they're going for because, like, Paul Rudd is a fairly unlikable guy, at least to me, at the beginning, because he's got allergies, sure, but he's trying to answer the phone, and he's speeding up. He's like, oh yeah, I'm speeding up because I need to get the rest of this phone call out there, and then he's not paying attention to the road. And then Jenna Ortega's not that likable either because, oh, can you hold this? Oh, I'm not holding your phone. You hold your own phone. I'm like, so she's being bitchy and won't help out her dad. The dad's being bitchy. So of course you both, because you're stupid, accidentally hit this fucking unicorn. And then when she touches the horn, she has these visions, very beautiful visions. Like, as in, colorful. And the dad kills the unicorn because he thinks she's having some seizure because of it. And that's supposed to be the joke, is that this magical things happen and then Paul Rudd kills it like a tire iron. But one of the biggest flaws I have with this film, the unicorns look like utter dog shit. And really if you took this same film and everything was done practically, which I think you could have done. I do. I think every shot with the unicorn could have been done with animatronics, special effects, or even some real horses, and you put, a fucking horn on them. Did it back to the day with Legend. Remember that Ridley Scott film? You did it back then. And have some animatronic work and stuff. Practical effects, even some puppetry. If you did that, I think I would have liked this film more. I wouldn't have called it a great film. I would call it a flawed film, but I would have liked it more. The CGI took me so fucking out of it. The CGI was like those shitty... I was going to say those shitty movie... Well, actually, those characters aren't CG. I was going to say those ones based on, like, Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, but those are not, they're stupid people in suits. Looks like Sci-Fi Channel. That's more Sci-Fi Channel shit. Like, this belongs on the Sci-Fi Channel. And I'm talking about the SYFY, not the old school, better, actual sci-fi, spelled right. I'm talking about the bullshit SYFY version of sci-fi. This belongs on there with fucking Meth Gator versus Ass Blaster, or Seth Rollins versus Seth Gator, whatever the fuck else is on there. Sharknado 4 store and 7 sequels later. What the fuck else the movies are called? It should be on there. Because that's how bad the CGI is. Even with the fucking unicorn that's just lying down on the fucking street is a goddamn CGI effect. And when Paul Rudd's hitting it, the purple looks shitty and CGI. When it wakes up, tries to break out of the vehicle, horrible fucking CGI. When the two male and female, I guess mom and dad unicorns come out, again, horrible CGI. There's a bit where it's running through the hallway chasing Paul Rudd. Every bit with them looks so fucking awful and terrible. There's a bit where some of the characters are in the woods and one of them grabs a character and lifts her up. It's like, it looked like everything around them, environment-wise, was CGI, and then the shitty creature is CGI. It looks like a crappy Sci-Fi Channel movie with these effects. It took me the fuck out. It looked fucking garbage. I miss the days when they would actually try to have animatronics and work their asses off, take their fucking time, do trial and error. Okay, you may fuck up the first or second time, but that's what you do, trial and error, and try for it. Because it looks so much better than this dog shit. I mean, as for the plot, like I said, after that beginning, they go to the rich people's place. Paul Rudd, even though they have a fucking dead unicorn in their back seat, they're like, no, I need... Okay, think about this. Paul Rudd is so wanting money for his daughter. You have a fucking dead unicorn, almost a leprechaun, dead unicorn in your back seat. You're telling me there's nowhere you could go and get a fucking couple $1 million payday and get rich and famous off the shit? Look what we found. Talk shows, all that shit. We found this dead on the side of the road or something. It's a one of a kind. It's a fucking unicorn. You're rich. But no, I need to go with... Let's keep in the car. I need to go talk to my boss. So you can suck him off or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's where you find out that, you know, the blood fixed her acne, fixed Paul Rudd's eyes. It's supposed to be satire on the rich people. You know, how your Leoni acts, how the son acts. Jenna Ortega's trying to tell Paul Rudd, let's get out of here. We gotta do something with this. There's bouncing in the car. The baby unicorn, the younger unicorn's not dead. One of them shoots in the head. They bring it in. They looked at the blood. They looked at the shavings of the fucking unicorn. It's got magical properties of healing. Ever since Jenna Ortega touched that and had the visions, she can feel stuff that's going to happen, like instinct, a connection. Scientists arrive, create a lab to look at the blood and the stuff, do tests, put it on Richard E. Grant. He's healed up. They decide to use this to make money. And it's another one of those movies that capitalism is bad. Now, yeah, the way they're doing it, I get what they're going for, but it is another one of those movies where capitalism is bad, folks. It's not always bad, but... It makes you wonder if this wasn't a unicorn, if there was, you know, and let's say it was a bear, a tiger, or whatever, and it just happened to have these properties, would we still be... Yeah, they want to make money, they're greedy, but if it benefits, you know, people and it helps people... But, I mean, I get it. They're very one-dimensional, bad guy, rich people. Nothing really else to them. The humor is supposed to be just how greedy and out of it these rich people are. And because I guess Jenna Ortega like read some fucking tapestry thing that the mom knew about or something. Anyway, she finds out some details about the unicorn, tries to warn them. None of them, including the dad, doesn't listen. That's what I mean. They made the dad so much of a putz for so much of the time that I didn't really go around to really liking him when it's supposed to be his arc. I didn't fully buy it. He was like a aloof, kind of a I don't want to say prick, but kind of aloof ass. Like not intentionally, but just to a point of annoyance for a good chunk of it. And she tries to warn them, don't transport the body, something's going to happen. They try to transport the body, and that's when the two other unicorns arrive. And some of the kills can be fun. Granted, a lot of usage of CG. Like one guy gets impaled, the horn goes through his chest, and when it pulls out, you see the hole in them, and the camera's looking through the hole at Paul, and you see Paul Rudd's face through the wound. One guy gets his head stepped on, but it's done really piss poor CGI. His head gets squished. And that's the thing, these could be some fun kills, but some of them just some dodgy, awful CG, man. That didn't help. Like, why did the stepping on the head have to be CG? Back in the day, The Fly 2 had a goddamn guy get his head smashed by a fucking, like, elevator. And I still can remember that, and oof. Anytime I see that, oh, man. I think it was, yeah, it was an elevator. It's just the image and the gore and oh. I cringe right now. Think about it, because it makes me, oof. I'm not being over the top on that. In fact, I'm not going to see it. I mean, I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to pop it up on my phone here just to get a visceral reaction on my face. Yeah, I can't show. I'm not going to be able to show it because of fucking copyright, but I don't know. Maybe I could show it if it's quick. Okay, look at that. Oh, fucking ad. Why am I... Okay. Come on, it's only 10... There's only a few seconds. Oof. Like, look at that. They did that back in 1989. 1989, and I still went, oof, when you see that. Have a fucking appliance, put a fake head in there and go, tch. Why do you need a CGI? Yes, there are films I like in the past that have CG. As time goes on, I'm going to be less and less lenient because there's no excuses nowadays that you can't do that when you could do it back in 1989. Almost 30 fucking years ago. Well, I mean... Well, I just should say... Well, wait, 89, 99, 09, 19... It's more than 30 years. Almost 40 years ago, sorry. I don't know how to do math. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, because Ninja Turtles had their 35th anniversary. So that was like 36 years ago. So yeah, 36 years. So it's even worse. So there you go. My mind did not want to fathom longer than 30. Wait, no. 36. 36 years ago. That was 36 years ago. That was 36 fucking years ago. My brain did not want to compute the math because it didn't want to fathom that. And yeah, I could knock into the characters are one dimensional. The father and daughter stuff could have been more built up so that when they try to go for the heart at the end, it's more acceptable. It's more earned. Jenna Ortega, does it have to be Jenna Ortega? Again, felt like she's casting everything like Pedro Pascal. Some of these actors, like, oh great, Jenna Ortega. I kind of want to go away from it. Then Paul Rudd, can you try a little bit more than just playing yourself? I like Paul Rudd, but goddamn. I like the idea of a horror comedy with unicorns. Part of me is like that was trying to help itself for chunks of the movie. Trying. Some of the ideas of the deaths being again stabbed through the chest with a horn. One person gets their guts ripped out by the teeth of a unicorn. The best death is someone gets the horn goes up the chin and up the top of the head, which it looks like that was mostly practical. It looks like it. I'm like, well, why is that one looking more practical than the other fucking death scenes? I don't know. The comedy, it felt like the movie should have been funnier than it was. Considering it's about killer unicorns. It felt like the movie wasn't as funny as I thought it was. Okay, hey, this guy got some of the dust and he's sniffing it like a drug. Okay. And well, that's the joke. Okay. That's like one of the best jokes in the movie, I guess. So yeah, there's a bit of a little set piece action with the two unicorns. Jenna Ortega's in the vehicle. Paul Rudd's on the outside. One of them chases Jenna Ortega, and then it gets close to Jenna, and then the demeanor of the unicorn changes. That's where you come to find out that if you have like a pure heart, they'll be nice to you, something like that. Most of them get back to the house. Richard E. Grant decides to hunt them down. Paul Rudd goes with them, even though she's like, oh, come on, Dad, let's get in the car and leave. But he won't, because he still hasn't fucking learned yet. Those two and some of the bodyguards of Richard E. Grant go into the forest. Jenna Ortega realizes, oh, wait a minute, they can't really die. So if it thinks it's wounded, it's not. They heal themselves. So tries to warn her dad. Most of the other the bodyguards get killed. Mostly, you barely see anything because, again, the outside looks CG. CG unicorn pulls the lady, pulls her back. You don't really see a whole lot during that scene. Paul Rudd has a little bit of, I don't know, infrared, night vision, whatever, and sees a little bit of it. It's just Paul Rudd and Richard E. Grant back. They make a run for it. Spoiler alert, this is where Richard E. Grant dies, and he's the one that gets the horn. I would say the best death scene in the movie. I didn't mind that death. All that's left is Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Tay Leoni, the son, Adam Warlock, and then this guy that kind of does whatever the family wants, and this female scientist, doctor, whatever. Jenna Ortega goes, hey, we need to push the the baby, the younger. I keep saying baby, but it's like the younger unicorn out. But for some reason, it doesn't work. You later find out why it doesn't work. So the lady scientist doctor gets killed, torn apart. Which I don't think she really deserved that, but I mean, she did. I like that the one guy, which he hasn't really done anything wrong either, he gets to the gate, he's like, fuck this, and leaves. And one of the few that lives, so he was the smart one. Leoni gets thrown about and her guts torn out. You find out that the reason it didn't work putting the younger horse out is because Paul Rudd has the horn. And Jenna says, why you have that? Because I wasn't thinking, like, this could be our ticket. And I'm sitting there, yeah, you doing that got this fucking lady scientist dead, killed. And she didn't really deserve it. So you got her killed. So now I'm like, fuck this guy. Fuck this character. Because of your fucking stupidity, you got this girl killed, and it's like you don't even realize it. Because it never brought up. They did a speech about, well, your mom, blah, 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 blah. I didn't do it because your mom made me promise to take care of you. And I did what they're trying to do, and Paul Rudd is trying, and Paul Rudd does have charisma. I do like Paul Rudd, so that does help a bit. He makes a run for it. The unicorn chases him. Meanwhile, the son has like a crossbow or bow and arrow. Gets Jenna Ortega to go near the other unicorn. And I guess when the unicorn gets near her, they just lie down. Okay. Which is weird because when it first got near her, it didn't lie down there. It showed her the horn. Hey, here's my horn. Touch my boner. But here they lie down. Paul Rudd lures the other unicorn back with the horn he has. And there's a bit of a face-off where Paul Rudd stabs the guy, and then he just stands there in front of him long enough for the guy to stab him. And the guy does say, oh, I didn't think that through. I'm like, no shit you didn't. You stabbed the guy, and then you stood there like an idiot, and then you got stabbed. One of the unicorns wakes up, kicks the guy in the face, and the guy flies back with the help of some, dodgy CGI. I think Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, I think they do the best they can in this acting scene. Him asking, what did you see in those visions? Because I think she mentioned at one point she might have seen her mom, his wife. And he's like, oh, I hope that's true. He dies, she cries. The two unicorns look at each other. They drag Paul Rudd to their baby. And then Wonder Twins unite with their horns. And Paul Rudd sees those visions now, and then they're both healed. Paul Rudd and the younger unicorn. After the Wonder Twins, unite. The power of Grayskull, whatever the fuck. So now they're alive. The three unicorns are now alive. Well, the other two were alive, but the baby one's alive and Paul Rudd's alive. The cops come by, they're either witnesses or suspects. I guess the unicorns are now buddies with them because the unicorns are following them. Give them kind of the signal to get ready and put on your seatbelts. And I guess the idea is that the unicorn's going to ram the car. Now the car looks like it's by a cliff and there's water below. So I'm like, are these two going to die as well? I mean, that's not what you're supposed to think, but it looks like the cop car is going by a cliff with water in it and it's going to go. I'm like, is this really a good idea? And the idea is that, okay, I'm going to bail you out. I'm going to ditch you out. As if they were fucking Dom Toretto and what was that Fast Furious movie where they get him out at the end of Fast 4, I think. And that's how it ends. The unicorn's bailing him out, and you hear it off screen. But I'm like, yeah, that car's gonna go into the off the fucking cliff into the water. I don't think that's the best idea, but I don't know. This film, I think, could have been good. That's kind of more infuriating. It could have been good. If you had a different writer-director who had a bit more experience in writing characters. Like, if the characters were written like the movie Tremors, which those characters are very well written, or even Tremors 2 Aftershocks. Those are the template for this film should have been those two movies. Tremors and Tremors 2. Just underground worms could be looked at as a silly idea. But yeah, really... Even Tremors 2, I mean, there's CG, but there's also a good chunk of practical. And, I mean, and the budget, it's a film that went straight to video. I think this film had a bigger budget. So, there... And the characters were likable and fun, and... That's what this movie needed more of. Different writer-director, utilize practical effects, strengthen up the father and daughter story. I would recast Jenna Ortega and get someone that's a little bit more unique of an actress. Paul Rudd, make his arc more worthwhile and more... What's the word I'm looking for? Earned. Much more well-earned arc. And do some passive with the dot. I mean, like, Tremors 1 and 2 are pretty funny. Like, this one is not as funny as it thinks. And again, I know I'm ranting. That's the thing. I don't hate the film like some of them. Like, A24, I hate Midsommar. I hate Hereditary. I hate Killing of a Sacred Deer. Just, I don't think this film was pretentious. I don't think this film was preachy. I don't think this film was, that full of shit on its ideas. I think it had a kernel of an interesting idea of these unicorns with magical, healing stuff and people using it for profit. And then them, the two wanting revenge for the... That's why they want that horn, is to bring their kid back to life. You can't blame them for wanting that. So you understand the unicorn's point of view. I'm going to do whatever I can to get my kid alive. Fuck you guys. You can't blame them for that. But if the unicorns, give them the practical effects and then give them more character by utilizing that. Like Orca, the killer whale. Even the Orca had little moments that you see a little sense of character. They use in it, the amount of practical they use on that. Because the beginning of Orca sees that it's pretty much wife and kid, or the girlfriend is dead, and his baby's being dumped to the fucking water, and he wants revenge. It's like, if Charles Bronson was a whale, it'd be Orca the killer whale. If a killer animal was a Death Wish movie, that's kind of what Orca is. That's one of the reasons I like it. Learn from the past, man. Tits. I have the Vinegar syndrome of tits. That's about giant killer fucking tits, but the vibe of the characters, especially the practical effects and the goopy gore, and the, what's his name from Fresh Prince, Carlton, when his skin's breaking apart and the giant tit coming out. I still have the really good goopy gore. Like, people don't understand how that can really help with this kind of movie it was trying to be. It's like a more glossy version of a Sci-Fi Channel film. So that's the way I look at it. I think this could have been a fun movie, and they fucked it up. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.